And good afternoon, everybody. Carson Meredith with you, filling in for Brian Good on this Friday. Hope all is well as we close in on the lunch hour. Well, we're in the lunch hour, right? Just past noon. It is gorgeous out there today. I hope you can get outside and enjoy this beautiful June day. It's not very often we're talking about less humid air around here in June. So take advantage of it because things are going to get a little more interesting starting this weekend. And looking over the data this morning, it does appear, while the weekend's still not a washout, that those rain chances still might be going up just a little bit. We're going to dive deeper into that latest data here over the next few minutes. So let's see who's chiming in. As always, got any comments? Let me know. Nancy says, good afternoon. Scott says, hello on YouTube. Michael says, bring on the summer heat. If you guys have heard me on weekends long enough, you know I do not like the summer heat. So I'm enjoying this nice, comfortable weather we've got today. But about a week from now, that summer heat that Michael's really wanting, and maybe some of you as well, it'll definitely be here about a week from now. We'll talk about that here over the next few minutes. We're chiming in here just after noon because we don't have our newscast right now, midday and noon, because we've got tennis on Wave and NBC at the moment. We should be back on air, though, coming up this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Right now, though, out in New Albany, wow, what a beautiful view, right? If you want to complain about one thing, though, in the weather world today, it's kind of breezy, all right? You can see the flags that are kind of always our beacon for just how windy it is across Wave Country right there along the Ohio. Yeah, they're out there, that is for sure. Current temperature here in Louisville is 79. You see that wind gust out of the north and west, so that's the reason why the air that you're seeing or feeling, I guess, is much more comfortable, not too terribly humid out there. But again, it's still breezy. We've got those gusts around 22 miles per hour. Last check at Ali International. And I would not be surprised as the day goes on if we see some gusts get upwards of 25, maybe even 30 miles per hour. Latest gusts from around the region, mainly north of the Ohio River is where the breezy conditions are at the moment. 25-mile-an-hour gusts last check in Jeffersonville. Fort Knox even seeing some gusts around 20. Here in Louisville, we mentioned around 22. And around 13 miles per hour in Salem and Corydon, 18 miles per hour in Paoli. So again, just a little bit of a breezy Friday, but not too terribly humid. So no big issues for the rest of the day today, aside from that wind, of course. And I do expect that wind to subside once we get past 4, 5 o'clock. In other words, it'll go below 20 miles per hour. Once we get past that 4 or 5 o'clock time frame. And then overnight tonight, still a light breeze with us, but it won't be quite as blustery overnight tonight. Back to the comments we go. Brandon asked, any severe in the near forecast? No, I don't believe so. However, the storm chances may be going up a little bit. And we're going to explain that here in just a second. Not severe storms, just good old-fashioned summertime rumblers, if you will. Maybe this weekend. We'll explain here in a sec. Elizabeth says, yay, summer heat. A lot of summer heat fans out there. I'm not one of them, but to each their own, right? It's going to get a little bit toasty, especially by next weekend. No more rain. No more rain, says Olivia. Someone on YouTube, wishes to be anonymous, says, love the summer weather. Going to the farm tomorrow. Yeah. Not too bad, but you're going to need to keep the umbrellas with you as you're out and about tomorrow. Enough rain. Tyler asked to get out and cut some hay on Monday. The rainfall totals this weekend look low. Looks more like a light rain for most of us. And then we should dry things out by early next week. So I'll show you radar just to show you radar. I always like showing radar, but I even like showing radar more when it's nice and quiet, like it is today. Nothing in the forecast at all today. Should be just fine. You got any plans tonight, this afternoon, or tonight? Good to go. No issues at all. All right, here's the weekend setup. Right now, we're going to go 30% for both Saturday and Sunday. But I will caution, Saturday night, early Sunday morning, might be a little higher than 30%, might be closer to a 40% chance for showers and maybe a few storms. But you've heard us talk a lot this week about that drier air, right? That dry air, of course, kind of eats up some rain as it tries to get to the ground. That's going to be the case, especially tomorrow. But the million-dollar question for tomorrow night and early Sunday is, will the atmosphere still be relatively dry? Because if it is, that'll keep the rain and storm potential in check. But if we get the atmosphere saturated, then we might have some storms to talk about, especially tomorrow night into early Sunday morning. Again, I'm not worried about severe weather at this point, but some of you, especially across Kentucky, might be woken up by a few storms early on Sunday. And you notice temperature-wise this weekend with those slightly higher rain chances. And of course, the cloud cover, we're going to be stuck in the 70s. So temperature-wise, it's not too bad this weekend. We just might have to dodge a couple rounds of showers and maybe a few storms. But don't cancel any of your plans this weekend, all right? Don't cancel them. Let's start off with tomorrow. 2 o'clock in the morning on Futurecast, still nice and quiet. You can rest easy tonight. There's no rain expected until we get towards late tomorrow morning. I'm talking 10 or 11 a.m. at the earliest. And for most of us, that rain still looks like it's going to hold off until we get to around this time tomorrow, noon, 1 o'clock. You see that rain moving in from the west. This is 9 o'clock in the morning. But again, there's still going to be a lot of dry air over our heads in wave country. And as this pocket of rain moves in, notice how it still holds together with the latest guidance, right? But keep in mind, if the atmosphere is dry, then all that rain that's being picked up on radar, it might not be reaching the ground. So that in general is going to limit the soaking washout kind of rain tomorrow. So I don't expect a washout on Saturday at all. More than anything else, just a few light showers starting around 10, 11 a.m., going through the lunch hour. And you notice those spotty showers are still with us past 3, 4, maybe even 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So just keep the umbrella handy on Saturday. It's not a washout, okay? I'm not even worried about heavy rain during the day tomorrow. Just might have some lighter raindrops around. And you notice we get towards 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. If you have any Saturday night plans, we should get a little break in the rain chances. Late Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Then we have to ramp up those rain chances again after midnight Saturday night. So comments we go. Joseph says, Sunday a washout. I don't think so, but those chances have gone up, especially in the early part on Sunday. So it's still kind of up in the air as far as Sunday is concerned. I'll explain why here in a minute. For tomorrow, the rain chances, we're still capping them at 30%. Highest shower chances start around noon, go through the early afternoon, and then we get a little bit of a break around 6 o'clock tomorrow evening before that second batch of rain moves in after midnight Saturday night. Now, let's show you that on Futurecast. This is the model. This is the graph model, our in-house model, if you will. And I think it's got the best handle on this at this point. Note the time. This is right as we're ending our 11 o'clock newscast tomorrow night, around 11:30. And you notice these little clusters of storms out to our west, out towards the Wabash River, maybe another one up near Terre Haute, Indiana. I do expect these storms as they move in after midnight Saturday night to weaken. The environment's just not there. Could you have a few rumbles of thunder Saturday night? Sure, absolutely. But any severe weather threat, it's just not there. There's no fuel. There's not a lot of fuel, not a lot of instability. There's a little shear in the atmosphere, a little wind shear, but it's not enough. So I do expect these storms to weaken as they push east. Having said that, as this frontal boundary slowly slides to the south and east, at the same time, you're going to have some of these storms that are trying to move to the east and southeast. So that could set the stage for possibly some minor ponding, some minor flooding issues I don't expect widespread flash flooding, but there's going to be a ton of moisture in the atmosphere by this point Saturday night, and that could set off some heavier downpours still. So even if we're not seeing gusty winds, we may still have some heavier rain. This is around 1 o'clock Sunday morning, and you kind of notice the main focus for these storms is still just to the south of Louisville. So our far southern counties, so let's say you're down in Grayson County, Hart, LaRue, Greene, Taylor, Adair, even into Breckenridge and maybe even Meade County, you guys have that best shot to see heavier rain, maybe a few rumbles of thunder Saturday night. Now, there are some forecast models that are doing a couple of things tomorrow night, one of which is to bring a big slug of more light rain further north up towards Louisville and across southern Indiana late tomorrow night, early Sunday. There's also some forecast models that kind of want to linger the rain into a good bit of Sunday, especially the first half of the day. This forecast model that I'm showing you is not totally sold on that. It keeps the heaviest rain basically along and south of the parkways, so E-Town, Litchfield, Bardstown, point south. And it doesn't really have much in the way of rain up towards Louisville and up towards southern Indiana. So there's still some fine-tuning to do about, 36 hours away from this second round moving in. So check back often for updates as we kind of work through those smaller details. But in general, Saturday night into early Sunday, the highest rain chances are going to be basically south of that yellow line I'm drawing. So south of the parkways in general, our far southern communities. We'll watch for heavy rain, maybe some thunder. And then north of that line, up towards Louisville, Shelbyville, LaGrange, and anybody in southern Indiana, there could be a few spotty showers around. And we'll keep the spotty showers around to the south, maybe into the early afternoon on Sunday. So 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I can't rule it out. But this front should, at some point on Sunday, still got to figure out when, but at some point that front will slide south and we'll see the skies clear out. And Sunday, late afternoon, Sunday evening, at this point, it looks like it'll be just fine. But we got those two little bumps in the road, if you will, to watch as we head towards Saturday midday, so around this time tomorrow. And then again, late Saturday night, into early Sunday. And of course, I'll be here all weekend tracking the rain that moves through and any storms that might stick around as well. So here's our general thinking for that second round of rain Saturday night, Sunday morning. I should have said Saturday night there at the top, but you get the idea. Mainly to the south of Louisville. Let's say Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, E-Town, Bardstown, Lebanon, Litchfield, Munfordville. Those areas, you guys down to the south of Louisville have the better chance for rain and maybe a few storms, but we'll still keep that shower chance around in this lighter green zone across southern Indiana, here in the metro, maybe up towards LaGrange, Campbellsburg, Shelbyville, and Bedford. So no big deal with this. Don't be surprised if you hear some thunder, especially if you're in central Kentucky tomorrow night, but there's not much of a severe threat at all. In fact, I'm not really worried about severe weather at this point. Main issue, if we do get any storms, will be heavier rain. So that's pretty much it for the setup this weekend. I'll show you the 10-day here real quick. And you notice the big story is still the heat about a week from now. Oh, boy. Now, the start of the work week looks decent, right? Partly cloudy, highs in the 70s. Still not too bad. Small shower chances, though, pretty much all of next week, but especially Tuesday and Wednesday. We got to watch a system. Well, we have to watch a couple of things. One, how far south does that Sunday cold front go? The further south it goes, the lower our rain chances are. If it gets hung up, let's say near Tennessee, North Alabama, North Georgia, then we might have some showers around. But we'll also have to watch if low pressure develops down the Gulf of Mexico. Not necessarily a tropical storm, but we'll just have to see if that develops. And if it does, we'll have to see how far north it goes and how the front keeps it to the south. So there's a bunch of puzzle pieces we still got to figure out for next week. But in general, we start things off on the cooler side Monday and Tuesday. Low end rain chances most days, if not all days, will wind up being dry. And then we get to that heat that really settles in for the first time this year, beginning on Thursday. Let me back up that graphic here. You notice it'll be 88 as we get towards Thursday, and then 90. Around 90 next Saturday. Father's Day looks quite warm, around 92. There's some forecast models that are saying mid-90s next week, into next weekend. I'm not totally sold on that at this point because we've got so much moisture in the ground. We're so saturated. You really, if you want to get mid-90s this time of year, you either got to have a really incredibly strong dome of high pressure right over us, like a heat dome, or you have to be really dry. We'll have that heat dome, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough in and of itself to push us into the mid-90s. And the ground's pretty saturated from all the rain we've had this spring. So for the time being, we're going to keep those highs around 88 to 92 starting Thursday of next week and going into Father's Day weekend. As far as rain chances, once we get past this weekend, doesn't look like a whole lot. So hopefully this heat won't cause any drought concerns. I don't think it will for a while, but that is something we'll have to keep an eye on as we get deeper into summer. And we're still not even technically in summer, right? We got another 13 days. So, but as far as severe weather in general, things are quieting down. We'll watch those storms Saturday night. They shouldn't be severe, but they could be loud, especially in Kentucky. Maybe some heavy rain too. Comments we go. Adam always watches in Bloomington. Hope all is well, man. I see something our way at 1 a.m. I would assume you're talking about Saturday night, Sunday morning. I'll go back to Futurecast here real quick. You know, we say it all the time. Don't take the exact times and where the storms are on Futurecast as gospel. Just a general idea. But for Bloomington, where you are, Adam, and for any of our friends in southern Indiana, we're going to keep that chance for at least a few showers late Saturday night. I think the higher threat for any storms is going to be across central and southern Kentucky. And this model is doing a pretty good job showing the higher rain coverage, where it's going to wind up. Like I said, some models try to slow this thing down to where we see more showers, even a few storms into Sunday, whereas this model kind of gets things out of here pretty quickly, doesn't have much lingering rain as we go into the day on Sunday. So for 36 hours out, there's still a decent bit of uncertainty. We just got to nail down the exact locations and times and things like that. And of course, we'll be working on that over the next couple of days, right? Let's see here. Who else is watching here at lunchtime? Angela says, good afternoon. Ashley, I missed 15 minutes of this. Don't worry, Ashley. Once we're done, give it, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, and Facebook will re-upload the video so you can go back and watch in case you missed anything. Adam, getting a bit too warm for me. Yeah, me too. This is nice. Today is nice. Next week, though, next Thursday and Friday, I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'll pop up the 10-day again. We'll start that heat wave either Thursday or Friday. And in case you're wondering, we in the weather world call a heat wave 3 straight days of 90 degrees or higher. That's a heat wave. And we're going to be teetering right on that heat wave range, if you will, starting about a week from now. So if you're a fan of the summer heat, get ready. You're going to like next week and next weekend. But if you're not, like me, maybe not so much. Angela says, me too. She's ready, or she's not a fan of this warmer weather. Neither am I. Olivia says, ready for some pool time. See, it's always a divisive issue, isn't it? Adam's asking about the heat index. We'll watch it. I don't think it's necessarily in dangerous territory next week, but certainly we can see those feels like temperatures in the mid 90s maybe upper 90s. So it'll definitely be hot. Don't get me wrong, but is it in that dangerous triple digit territory at this point? I'm not seeing that right now. So take comfort in that. I really don't see any heat advisories or excessive heat warnings or anything like that with this heat that starts to build in next week. So that is where we stand, guys. It's nice to not talk about severe weather for once, right? But we'll keep an eye on the rain chances for this weekend. I'll be back on the air hopefully around 3 o'clock. We'll see how long tennis goes. We're supposed to be on air at 3, but whenever that is done, we'll be on Wave News on the television side of things. Ryan is filling in for Kevin tonight. He'll be covering you through this evening, and we'll be looking over some new data as the afternoon goes on and hopefully start to really nail down the main spots we're watching for the rain this weekend, as well as just how long the rain lingers and how much rain we'll see. But in general, first round of rain moves in around lunchtime tomorrow. It will be very light, just hit and miss showers. Then we'll keep an eye on that potential second round of rain and maybe a few storms late tomorrow night, lingering into the early part of the day on Sunday. All right, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching as always. Enjoy the rest of your lunch hour. Get outside today. It is a gorgeous afternoon. Hope you enjoy it. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we will see you again on the television side of things whenever tennis ends sometime this afternoon. Take care, everybody.